Okay, so I'm about to show you a video that I posted on Facebook about a year or so ago. And before I do, it is kind of disturbing, but I was bullied in school. So this kid does what I wish I would have done. And I want you guys to understand that, sometimes it takes justification. But this is also the same thing that this kid did I wish I would have done. But respectfully, my teacher, specifically a female teacher, watched and never did shit. So here you go.
I'm going to read a little paragraph for you, and after I'm going to explain. Yes, miss. Okay, miss.
You can't tell me the teacher doesn't see that shit. Now, personally, I think that he should have punched him. Not slapped him, punched him. But sometimes open hand slaps is just as powerful as a punch. The reason why I wanted to show y'all that is because, see, the thing about bullies is bullies will do what they are allowed to do if the people in authority choose to just watch and do nothing. And I wanted to point that out because throughout my years of school and all the bullying and stuff that I've ever been through, the majority of the teachers stood by and did nothing. Literally stood by and did nothing. Miss Jones was the top example of that because there was 7-on-1. Until I brought these equalizers to school. Upon bringing them to school, I had realized two things. I intended on using them, and damn the consequences. At the moment that I was going to use them, I realized two things. I didn't need them, and the consequences probably would have been severe because these are not conventional weapons. They are unconventional weapons, and the price you pay for a martial art weapon may have been more tragic for me than if I had brought a gun to school. Now, I'm making this video for the simple fact that in light of all the school shootings and things like that, no one really understands why this stuff happens. One thing that does make me understand, and I understand exactly why Columbine happened, I understand why Blacksburg happened, I understand why the more recent things that happened. Those kids that's in the more recent things, and in Blacksburg with the Virginia Tech shooting, I don't think they were really bullied. The Columbine kids were bullied, and they had reached fuck it. Now, and I no disrespect to the families of the victims and shit, because no one wakes up tomorrow and says, I'm going to raise my child to be a bully. They don't. You can't watch your child 24 hours a day, and you do not know how your child acts at school if the teacher does absolutely nothing, doesn't report it, and chalks it up to, oh, boys are just being boys. Here's the thing on that. When you are talking about boys being boys, if boys don't know when they're pushing another boy too far, Columbine happens. If boys don't know that they're pushing other people too far, Columbine happens. If people don't know the thin line that they cross every day by bullying people, those school shootings that most recently happens. More recently in the news, cops have arrested a 15-year-old girl and a 15-year-old boy, no names given, and I don't remember the states. But that implication is change at its best, because these cops did not become reactive. They were proactive, and they got the threats and went right after them. The woman who was telling them that her child was a joke, it was a prank, blah, blah, blah. You can't take pranks like that as a joke, as a prank, because you don't know the intent behind that prank. It may have been a joke when the cops came to your door, But as you were thinking about it, as you were writing it, maybe it wasn't a joke. I took these things to school with every intent on beating the 7 fuckers up. And I knew that I was going to get hurt too. And I knew it. But I also knew that these damn things here was me and them versus 7. When those 7 people ran from me, even though I didn't use them, I showed them. I put them back in the bag and threw the bag in the hallway and said, let's do this shit. I know Kung Fu and it's time for me to start using this shit. I took a lot of bullying for a lot of years. I learned a lot of martial arts for a lot of years. I street fought from the age of 6 to 12. No one has to believe it. I don't care. The people I've beaten, they know it happened. I know it happened. I'm sometimes ashamed of it, but not all the time, because I've learned at 5'3" that I can handle myself in a fight. Can't say I'm going to win them all, but I'm damn sure not going to lose them without leaving some of me behind with whoever's beating my ass. No. A well-prepared fighter will not lose. An unprepared fighter caught sleeping will probably get their ass kicked. The thing with bullying, though, when people see bullying and do nothing, because a lot of people see bullying and are thinking better him than me or better her than me. But what they're not thinking is the aftermath of better her or better him than me, because tomorrow that kid's got to come back to school and go through that shit one more time. And then they have to go through it again one more time. And they go home and they're too ashamed to tell their parents. They're too ashamed to tell their friends. And some of their friends are friends with the bastards that are bullying them. And there's nothing they can do. There's nowhere they can turn. There's no place they can go. But they have to come back to school to face this shit one more time. There's only going to be a few more one more times before this kid that's been bullied does what that kid did. And just decide, okay, the teacher sees this shit, the teacher's not doing anything, so I'm going to step up and do it my damn self. Now, respectfully, that kid did that shit in a gracious and great manner, and I applaud him. I did that shit in a respectful but not so great manner because I literally took weapons to school. And I got a hall pass off of it, because the principal was like my cousin, and I got a hall pass off of it. And basically what he told me was, you should have came to me the very first time you got bullied in the 9th grade. And I told him what I'm telling you. Mixed pride and shame. Pride because I knew Kung Fu. Shame because I'm at school being bullied when I know damn well I know how to fight. But fear of my mom's backlash was one of the things that made me endure it. But not everybody is made out of sterner stuff. Not everybody can hold their own mentally while people are running down the aisles of your 9th grade class and slapping everybody in the back of the head that's not cool until you make a stand. And when they come and you go and they fly past you into that chalkboard with all that momentum, that stopped the 9th grade bullying. But the same bully carried over into the 10th grade and the 11th grade. In the 11th grade, I was getting a double whammy because I had that guy in one class, but I had 7 other bullies in another class. And the teachers did nothing. There was policies in place, but policies cannot be enforced because you don't have the right to beat somebody else's child ass while they're picking on someone else's child. I do forgive you, Miss Jones, for doing nothing. But I don't forgive you for putting me on the chopping block when you sat there for 9 fucking months of school and watched them pick on the half-breed kid. Yeah, this was the color I was in high school. This is the color they were, including Miss Jones. And she did nothing. My older teachers, Mr. Freeman, I love you and I thank you, but we handled it. Miss Pittman, who was an elderly lady at the time, God rest her soul if she's dead. If she's not dead, then thank you, Miss Pittman, and thank you, Mr. Freeman, because y'all did let me stand up for myself. Mr. Yates, he didn't play that bullying shit in his class. No. Miss Kruger, she didn't know because it didn't happen until after she left the class for an emergency phone call. But Miss Jones, on the other hand, she watched. For 9 months of school, she watched. The teacher in that video, he watched. He did nothing. But the kid was proactive. He reached fuck it. he couldn't take that one more day. Because one more day will be that one of those kids will find a way to have access to a gun. Or God forbid, something worse. I had access to hand grenades. All I had to do was ask the right people. All my uncles were in the military. All I had to do was ask the right people. But again, mixed pride and shame. It stopped me from doing the things that I wanted to do. Until the one day, I reached fuck it. This is fuck, and this is it. And we were going to go and fuck some people up. Luckily, I have a logical brain, and I reasoned with myself to just say, you know what? These bitches right here should do the job. You've been training since you were 7. You've been fighting in the streets since you were 6. None of these fuckers were fighting because they were working on their basketball, and their football, and their baseball game. You can take them. So I did. Only thing was, when they ran out, they ran away. They never fought me. And then the teacher gave me a referral to go to the principal. The principal who didn't like me. So I went to the main principal, who happened to be my cousin. I happened to find out the night before, so I guess that might have been what gave me the courage to reach fuck it. But some kids aren't as blessed as I was. Some kids don't have that mental dexterity to resist the urge to hurt people who have hurt them. And this is how Columbine happens. Blacksburg was a whole nother level of shit. This was just grown jealousy and stupidity. A lot of the other school shootings was stupidity. And we have to raise our kids to not be ashamed to come and tell our parents when we are being bullied at school. And our parents have to go to the school and talk to the teachers about having a conference with those parents of those kids. But we didn't do that. And this is how Columbine happened. Because one more day, it only takes one more day, or these kids have to go to school damn near 170 days per year, from kindergarten to high school. And I even got bullied in college. And again, I love my freedom, which makes it illegal for me to take weapons to school. And it's illegal for me to put my size 9.5 shoe up somebody's ass. As a member of the military, I know what I'm doing. So it's going to be double the whammy when the cops arrest me, because I've been serviced and I've been trained by military personnel to hurt people. So if I hurt someone there, we're going to have a field day with your ass because you're a vet, and you were infantry, and you've been through BBJ and Taekwondo while you were at Fort Benning, Georgia. We got your ass, buddy. You knew what the fuck you were doing. The fact that I might be mentally cracked and reached fuck it because I could handle it for one more day, and then one more day just said, and that was it. All it takes is one, people. One bad day, and anything can change. I'm James Williams Jr. It also takes good people to stand by and do nothing. And that's how Columbine and shit happens. Keep that in mind. One more day, and it only takes good people to do nothing for evil to succeed. Be seeing you.